This is the story of a crime so massive it's hard to wrap your head around. And right at the center of it all was a girl who almost got away with everything.
Her name was Heather. And, well, she seemed completely normal. Quiet, smart, really the kind of person you'd never, ever suspect of anything. She wrote articles, she made videos. From the outside, she was living a perfectly ordinary life. But behind that facade, something very different was going on. She was part of a plan to steal $4 billion. Let that sink in. An absolutely staggering amount of money that just vanished into thin air.
So, how did something like this even happen? Well, to really get it, we need to go back to the very beginning. It all started with a partnership and a very dangerous plan.
You see, everything changed when she met a man named Ilya. Now, he was nothing like her. While she was building this public persona, he was deep in the crypto world. You know, the underbelly of it, where fortunes are made and lost in a blink. And together, they hatched a plan. A plan built on exploiting the one thing the entire digital financial world relies on: trust.
It all went down in 2016. A major crypto exchange was breached. And just like that, billions of dollars in Bitcoin disappeared. No alarms, no warnings. It was just gone. Now, this was one of the biggest crypto heists in history at the time. And everyone, I mean everyone, assumed it was some elite foreign hacking group. Nobody could have possibly guessed the truth.
Okay, so after pulling off a crime this big, what would you do? Disappear, right? Go completely off the grid. But Heather and Ilya, well, they did the exact opposite.
And this is where the story gets really wild. Because instead of hiding in the shadows, they did something so brazen, so audacious, it's almost hard to believe.
They just lived their lives right out in the open. They posted on social media, they went to parties and industry events. Heather even built this whole online brand for herself as a business expert. All of this while they were sitting on one of the biggest criminal fortunes in modern history.
But they had one huge problem. See, it's one thing to steal the money. It's another thing to be able to use it. They had to clean it. We call that money laundering. And in the crypto world, that means running the stolen funds through a maze, thousands and thousands of tiny, complex transactions, all designed to hide where the money really came from.
They really thought they were clever. They figured the chaos and complexity of crypto would be the perfect cover. But they were about to learn a very, very expensive lesson.
Because here's the thing they completely missed. Crypto, it isn't truly anonymous. It's not invisible. Every single transaction, no matter how small, leaves a permanent digital fingerprint, a breadcrumb on a public ledger called the blockchain. And you can bet that investigators were watching those breadcrumbs.
So ever so slowly, and very, very patiently, the digital detectives started to follow the money, one transaction at a time. They unraveled the fake accounts. They mapped out the entire digital web this couple had spun. We're talking about a process that took years, but piece by piece, the picture started to become clear.
For years, they got away with it. They lived this bizarre double life. But those digital walls they thought were so strong, well, they were about to come crashing down.
Then came 2022, 6 years after the hack. And in an instant, everything fell apart. The authorities had finally connected all the dots. They tracked the stolen Bitcoin right to their doorstep. And what they found, it stunned everyone. I mean, after all that time, all those years of trying to launder the money, you have to wonder, how much did they actually find?
The answer? $3.6 billion. An unbelievable portion of the stolen money was just sitting there, in digital wallets they controlled. It wasn't gone at all. This seizure became one of the largest financial recoveries ever.
So when the arrests were finally made, the world was just in disbelief. This wasn't some faceless, sophisticated crime syndicate. It was a couple living their lives right out in the open, hiding one of the biggest secrets in the financial world.
But you know, behind all the shocking headlines and the mind-boggling numbers, there's a much more important story here: the human cost. Because thousands of real people lost their money in that hack. We're talking about investors, regular families, people who had put their trust in the system. For them, this wasn't just some abstract number. This was their life savings, their retirement, their hopes for the future, just gone. In all that time, Heather and Ilya were living large,
completely convinced they'd gotten away with it.
So what can we learn from all this? Well, the first lesson is about deception. In today's world, especially with crypto, things are rarely what they seem on the surface. Criminals, they don't always wear masks. They can look just like us, normal, friendly, even successful. And that's what makes this kind of crime so insidious.
And the second lesson, it's even more simple. No matter how clever you think your plan is, and no matter how long it takes, eventually, the truth always comes out. So you have a seemingly normal girl, a hidden plan, $4 billion, and one colossal miscalculation. They thought no one was watching them, but in the digital world, someone is always watching.